The world had always feared war in the deserts, the oceans, and the skies, but no one expected the spark to ignite in the frozen silence of the Arctic. It was 2026, and the ice had thinned enough to expose something priceless beneath, rare minerals worth trillions. 3 nations made their claim, but 2 took the first step toward war. On the icy deck of the USS Valkyrie, Commander Ethan Ward tightened his gloves as the wind whipped across the frozen sea. The ship wasn't built for comfort. It was built for intimidation. Russian aircraft approaching from the north, the radar officer announced. Ward nodded. Open the channel. Let's hope they decide to talk. But hope was a fragile thing in the Arctic. High above the clouds, Russian pilot Sergei Malikov locked eyes on his target. Command, I have the American ship visual, he said, tightening his grip on the controls. His orders were simple. Push the Americans back, but do not fire unless fired upon. A dangerous line, drawn in ice and shadow. The 2 forces stared at each other across the white expanse. The sun barely touched the horizon, painting the clouds with red streaks that looked like fresh scars. Then the world cracked open. A sudden explosion shook the silence. Not from the Russians, not from the Americans. A third party. Unidentified. Unclaimed. The sky turned orange as a missile struck the ice between both forces, sending water and fire roaring upward. Ward stumbled. Who the hell fired that? Malikov's radio filled with static. It wasn't us. For a moment, confusion trumped hostility. From the smoke emerged long-range drones marked with no flag, no origin. They targeted both sides without discrimination. Ghost units, Ward whispered. Somebody wants this war. The Arctic erupted in chaos. Russian jets spiraled, American ships launched countermeasures, and the mystery drones continued their assault, emotionless and relentless. Malikov dodged a missile by inches. If we don't work together, we die together, he shouted over the radio. Ward agreed instantly. Link our targeting systems. Let's clean the sky. For the first time in history, American and Russian forces fought side by side, not as enemies but survivors. The sky turned into a battlefield of fire and steel. Missiles streaked like comet trails. Jets screamed through the frozen air. The deck of the USS Valkyrie shuddered as Ward coordinated the counterattack. Within minutes, half the ghost drones were destroyed. But whoever launched them had planned for this. A second wave rose from beneath the water, submersible drones cutting through the ice, heading straight for the American destroyer. Ward's eyes widened. They're aiming for the reactor. Evasive maneuver. But it was too late. The underwater drones detonated near the hull, throwing Ward and his crew across the deck. Freezing water rushed in, alarms blaring. Malikov, seeing the ship begin to tilt, made a choice he never expected. Prepare rescue gear, he ordered. We're bringing them home. Russian helicopters hovered above the sinking ship, lowering ropes to the American sailors. Ward looked up, half in shock, half in gratitude. You're saving us? Malikov smirked. War makes enemies. Humanity makes allies. One by one, the Americans were pulled from the freezing ocean. The Valkyrie sank beneath the ice, disappearing into the depths. When Ward finally climbed aboard the Russian craft, he met Malikov face to face. The 2 men shared a silent understanding. Someone had tried to start a war between them, and failed. As they flew across the Arctic sky, Ward whispered, Maybe the real enemy isn't a nation, but the ones who profit from chaos. Malikov nodded. The shadow line had been drawn, not between countries, but between truth and deception. And the world had just stepped over it.